Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to the School of Science. My name is Luke and this is the Everton Stadium update for the 19th of October 2024. Now, going over the site today, well, I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've done this, so apologies for any rustiness or anything like that. But we're going over the site today, we're going to have a little look through and see what we can see. I've brought it back to the previous variant of how we normally do this. I just felt like doing it like this today, you know? I wanted to do a little pan around and everything, but it just felt like today we're going to try and do something nice and simple. You know, we can see things as they are quite closely and not have to worry about trying to point out key features, you know, via the drone as well as in editing. But going over the site today, night and day, it is quite a different site. I mean, we can see all the light posts and everything there, and it is really nice to see the outline of where the dock is. Also, the seagulls were getting a bit feisty as well, so I was a little bit on edge seeing one of them fly right by the camera. But yeah, it is always great to actually see the borderline of where the water, well, the actual dock used to be, and where the stadium actually sits atop of that. And one interesting point that was actually pointed out to me, and I'm not sure whether it's going to be, well, they're not going to be, well, if they are going to be, they will be put in the very near future. You know, the old anchor points for where a boat's tie down used to be. So you can actually see one of them right here in the corner. So where the hydraulic tower meets with the phase 2. So you can actually see where the water line used to be. You can actually see one of them sitting right there in front of the hydraulic tower. So these are where the original the original pieces are. So when this used to actually be a wet dock, that's where they were. And there's going to be more of them getting placed around the dock as well. I'm assuming they've probably already been put in, and I've probably missed them over the course of time. Yeah, I don't know what I was trying to do with this pan around to the hydraulic tower. I was trying to get, you know, around it and see how it was looking and everything, but I kind of scuffed it up a little bit. But I figured I'd keep it in just because it's a decent little fly around, so you can actually see other things alongside the hydraulic tower. So if you want to rewind the video and have a look back and see what you can see, by all means. But yeah, flying down right now, we can see where all the lights and everything are, and everything looks pretty much all done and dusted on this side of things anyway. So we can see that pretty much where phase 1 was and where all the rail lines are, everything is clean, tidy. It looks like it is ready to go into, so you could actually go in there tomorrow, sort of have a look around and everything. That's how it feels right now looking at it, until you get to the very end here where all the construction stuff is, and then it looks all cluttered again. But it is nice to see the progress. It is honestly nice. And also, if you look over to the right where the barrel cladding is, you can actually see some lights as well. So where these lights are positioned, I'm assuming where they're positioned, they are actually going to be pointing into the barrel cladding. So we're going to try and make that barrel cladding glow. So I think there's going to be more of them spanned out, and they are discreet the way they've done them. They're nice and thin. It's not like these big massive posts with these big massive lights on them. They're very subtle, so at a distance you're not going to see them. It's going to look like the actual barrel cladding is going to glow itself. But yeah, as we move over to the south stand now, the points of interest, and one that was actually I found on a previous video, so this is actually Mr. Jones' video, someone actually mentioned this. So someone was saying that they weren't too happy with the fence line. So the fence line between Bramley Moor Dock and Nelson Dock. Also, look at that glass. Look at that glass shimmering. It's just beautiful. But yeah, so where the fence line is, he said that it seems to be too low, and that if people are coming out all at once, so let's say all 13,000 people in the south stand managed to get out pretty much simultaneously, he's worried that it's going to be a little bit of a pinch point. But one thing I can assure, well, let's try and get this properly out. So what he was saying was, he was worried that this was going to be a bit of a pinch point, and that some people might be a bit daring and try and jump over the fence and walk the line there. All I can say to that is, for one, that fence is probably sitting about, say about 8 foot high. So you're going to have to actually jump over quite well. This is from my point of view, by the way, and when you actually see the people walking across it, it looks high. So I don't think that's going to be an issue, in all honesty. And on top of that, all 13,000 people can come out of there, and you'll be able to have space in spades. You're talking about a good 30 meters in terms of width from the fence to the stadium itself. So walking down there, 13,000 people can walk through there without no issues whatsoever. So rest your weary heads on that one. But yeah, before we actually talk about the West Stand in its full, I want to mention as well, both sides of the South Stand, you can actually see where the curvature of the glass, well, the curvature of the mezzanine sort of going up. You can actually see they've got the cladding there in full swing, and it looks really nice. It does actually blend in really well. I'm curious why they didn't sort of, you know, have like a bit of a facade that sort of meshed the cladding to there, so it looks like one solid piece, so it sort of looks like it's sitting atop of it and looks like it's fixed around. I'm curious why they didn't do that, but in all honesty, it looks great. It does look really nice. But yeah, going over the West Stand now, it is really nice to see the water as well, and to see everything is just looking close to completion on this West Stand as well. So you can actually see here, so we will actually get closer, but you can actually see like a little bit of a decking piece here, so where the water sort of comes to the West Stand sort of courtyards area, you can actually see these little pieces here. So I believe these are actually composite decking. Don't quote me on that one, that's what I've been told. And it looks really nice. It looks like a wooden deck, you know, like what you'd have by like a pontoon system, if you know where all the boats and everything are. So it's nice to see that. And it'd be really nice out on a summer's day, just being able to just sort of sit there and just chill. Well, you actually can sit up the top down now. Also, you can see that they're currently working very hard on getting the non-slip stuff in place for the stairway as well. I'm curious why they haven't actually looked at trying to get some of the, you know, like a blue strip. There is a black strip that's running right the way up, but do you think it would look nice if they was doing like a little royal blue strip going all the way up, being non-slip? Because I'm sure you could probably get that done. Whether it be a little bit more, who knows? But I'm putting comments out that aren't exactly necessary, so apologies on that one. But yeah, it does look really nice to see the West Stand coming along the way it is. But as we move along to the North Stand now, one thing that did actually make sure I got attention on was you can actually see a little bit of a breaker here. So they're probably going to be going a little bit further down with that. So I believe that is actually meant to be a bit of a windbreak for the players. So from what has been passed around, apparently when the players are actually coming into the stadium, they're going to stop at the northwest corner and they're going to walk through and go in via that way on nice days. But on not so nice days, I believe they are pretty much going right up to the doorway, because that is actually high enough to go right for a bus to go right through. So that one is a good little piece to take note of. And looking over the North Stand, I can't see too much of a difference. I believe there's actually a fence there. Huh. That makes sense. So that fence where it is, so that's where it actually is starting to make sense now. So you can actually see a fence in the North Stand here, just between you can actually see it quite clearly. So that fence itself is going to separate the fans from where the bus route is. So obviously, we're not going to have issues where, you know, if fans are not really happy with the players or anything like that, they can't stage like a form of protest and stop the bus getting into the stadium or anything along those lines. Or, you know, how we try and excite the fans and everything. Well, we're trying to excite the players, sorry, and try and get the flares and everything going. They're trying to create a bit of a preventative measure of that, which is good in the sense of the players, just for the fact that we're protecting them as best as we can. Right, I have jabbered on enough. Let's talk about the inside now. So we can see the topsoil is now underway. So there's quite a bit of topsoil actually put on. So from here, it's pretty much going to become topsoil, seeding, and then from there, it's going to be the threading. So as we know, it's a hybrid system when it comes to this sort of grass. It was like this with most of the top tier stadiums, like of Anfield, the Etihad, Old Trafford, the Emirates, the new Tottenham Stadium, Stamford Bridge. You name it, it's probably got it. Even St James's Park. So they've got like a hybrid system. So it's 95% grass, 5% artificial. So this does help sort of keep the shape of the turf. And through repeated use, you're never going to have a situation where the turf's going to get ripped up. I believe Goodson actually has this already. So it's actually not anything particularly new. But it is something interesting to talk about, because the technology that goes into football these days is something else. We've put a lot of time and effort into this development of the sport that pretty much it feels like you're playing on carpet. I kid you not. I went to Goodison in May last year, and even though the turf was dry, it was so smooth. There was no bumps or there wasn't any bumps or dips on the turf where you'd catch your foot or anything like that. It was just smooth. It was like you could probably play pool on it. You could play snooker on it. It was that smooth. But yeah, I've rambled on enough about this. It's really nice to see the development of the stadium. Apologies for not really getting much out in regards to stadium. Between the whole thing about my nan passing away, weather, alongside a whole heap of other stuff, it's been very difficult, and I do appreciate the continued support. So again, I'd like to say thank you so much, everyone, for watching. If you want to put anything in the comments, please put it down below. Any suggestions, anything like that. But in any case, guys, take care, have a great weekend, and peace.